I'm Olivia, 32, and I've been married to my husband William for 3 years. We live in a cozy suburban house that we've worked hard to make our home. Everything seemed fine until a few months ago, when things started to shift in a direction I never saw coming. William's parents, who are in their late 60s, have recently retired. They're good people, but they've always been a little, how do I put this, unpredictable. For as long as I've known them, they've had a tendency to spend money like there's no tomorrow, constantly upgrading their house, buying cars they didn't need, and taking lavish vacations. I remember thinking that they were probably enjoying their golden years to the fullest, but it turns out they had been digging themselves into a financial hole. One night, after dinner, William sat me down and dropped the bombshell. His parents couldn't afford their home anymore, and he wanted them to move in with us for a while. He made it sound like it was a temporary thing, just until they could get back on their feet. I froze when I heard him say it. My first thought was, how long is a while? Because let's be honest, when someone says temporary, it usually ends up being anything but. I didn't want to seem unsupportive, though. I knew William felt responsible for his parents, and I understood the importance of helping family, but the idea of them living under a roof made me uneasy. It's not that I don't like his parents, it's more about boundaries and privacy. Our home was our space, and having them here would change that. I told William the first needed to think about it. I wasn't going to jump into something like this without setting some ground rules. He nodded, clearly relieved that I didn't outright say no. But then I made it clear, if his parents moved in, there had to be boundaries. I wasn't willing to let them disrupt our lives without a clear timeline for when they'd be moving out. We'd also need to have a conversation about privacy. Our marriage couldn't take a backseat to their needs. William seemed to agree, and I thought we were on the same page. But looking back, that was the first red flag. He never mentioned those conditions to his parents. Instead, he acted like I was fully on board, which I wasn't, not yet. In the weeks that followed, William's parents started visiting more often, almost as if they were easing themselves into the idea of living with us. At first, I didn't mind it, but then, little things began to pile up. His mom started making comments about how I kept the house. She'd point out areas I missed when cleaning, or how I organized the kitchen. It was subtle at first, but the digs got sharper. I shrugged it off, figuring she was just being picky, but it started to grate on me. One evening, they were over for dinner, and I overheard them talking in the kitchen while I was clearing the table. They didn't realize I was still nearby. His mom said something like, "I don't know what William sees in her. She's not even good enough for him." Then his dad chimed in, saying they hoped William would wake up and realize he could do better. I stood there, frozen. It felt like a punch in the gut. I didn't know what to do. Confront them? Walk away? I ended up walking back to the table in silence, my mind racing. How long had they felt this way about me? And why hadn't William said anything, if this was how they truly felt? That night, I told William what I had overheard, expecting him to be just as upset as I was. But instead, he shrugged it off. "They're just worried about me," he said. "Don't take it personally." Don't take it personally? How could I not? I was his wife, and his parents were saying terrible things about me. But instead of standing up for me, William brushed it off like it was no big deal. That's when the doubt started creeping in. Was I overreacting? Maybe I was reading too much into it. Maybe they didn't really mean it that way. But deep down, I knew that wasn't true. As time went on, things only got worse. Every time I brought up his parents, William would get defensive, like I was attacking them. I felt like I was losing him, like I was the outsider in my own marriage. I couldn't shake the feeling that his parents had never liked me, and now with the possibility of them moving in, it felt like I was going to lose whatever small bit of control I had left in our home. I started talking to my best friend